Since it was customary for the king to consult experts in matters of law and justice, he spoke with the wise men who understood the times and were closest to the king: Karshena, Shethar, Admatha, Tarshish, Mary's, Marsena, and Memucan, the 7 nobles of Persia and Media, who had special access to the king and were highest in the kingdom. According to law, what must be done to Queen Vashti, he asked. She has not obeyed the command of King Xerxes that the eunuchs have taken to her. So this is just telling us that even the nobles recognized how society was, how they wanted to represent, how the people of authority wanted to represent to the other people of the times. So just think about that. This is a time where possibly just a few people were dictating how people should live. Let's continue to read. And then Memucan replied, in the presence of the king and the nobles, Queen Vashti has done wrong, not only against the king, but also against all the nobles and the peoples of all the provinces of King Xerxes. For the queen's conduct will become known to all the women, and so they will despise their husbands and say, King Xerxes commanded Queen Vashti to be brought before him, but she would not come. This very day, the Persian and Median women of the nobility who have heard about the queen's conduct will respond to all the king's nobles in the same way. There will be no end of disrespect and discord. So just think about that. These very few people kind of dictating the whole thing. These very few people don't have a relationship with the Lord. Let's just point out the obvious right now. And they're leading, in a way, you can take from this, they're leading by fear. They're leading by not wanting to give up power or authority. There's something there, and they want to make sure that that feeling that of control stays with them. So think about that too. Let's continue to read. Therefore, if it pleases the king, let him issue a royal decree, and let it be written in the laws of Persia and Media, which cannot be repealed, that Vashti is never again to enter the presence of King Xerxes. Also, let the king give her royal position to someone else who is better than she. Then, when the king's edict is proclaimed throughout all his vast realm, all the women will respect their husbands, from the least to the greatest. The king and his nobles were pleased with this advice, so the king did as Memucan proposed. He sent dispatches to all parts of the kingdom, to each province in its own script, and to each people in its own language, proclaiming in each people's tongue that every man should be ruler over his own household. So, think about that. It's all about control. It's all about power. And so here you have these people who are used to control, who are used to power, riches, and such. And there is a fear there. So what we as humans have is we do have a lot of emotions, but there's a lot of stuff that we have where that are guided by fear. And so one thing is to lose control, fear of losing control, fear of losing the wealth, fear of losing our economy, fear of losing good health, fear of losing prosperity, fear of losing things and items. There's a lot here. And so when we take a look at it, are we in reliance? Where are we giving our reliance on? Are we relying on ourselves to fix these things? And that's where this control thing happens. Or are we relying on someone else? Are we relying on God? Think about it, bringing past to present. And because the Lord provides for us, the Lord guides us, and the Lord can give us hope and strength. And He doesn't want us to live with fear. And so here you have a group of men, in this case, that are making decisions based off of the underlying cause of fear. They may lose their authority in the sight of their wife. They may lose nobility in the sight of the people. Think about that. This is one way to look at it when we read this through this. So now that I've given that information, what kind of thoughts or feelings come to your mind when we read over this? How does it make you feel, and what does it make you think?